Hi. So winter's fast approaching us here in the UK, so I thought it'd be an ideal opportunity to show you what kit I use for running during the winter months. So we'll start off with headgear, head torch, the all-important jacket, gloves, bottoms, and finally ending with training shoes. So let's start off with headwear. Now, a lot of people might not need to wear a hat during their winter running, mainly because they've got hair. Now, as you can clearly see, I don't have so much of the hair on the head, and it's more of a nice shiny chromium type bonce. So I definitely need to wear a hat. And there are various options for me and for everyone else. So let's have a look at a few of those options. You could have this, or this, not this, and definitely not this. But what I use is this sort of beanie type hat. It's very thin, provides just enough warmth, but at the same time, if I need to take it off and put it away, it folds up really small and fits in my jacket pocket, and it doesn't bulge out too much. Also, if it gets wet and damp, it dries really easily and really quickly. So for me, this is the ideal cap for running in the winter. This particular one is a Ron Hill one. I think this goes for around £17 in the UK, probably about $22, $23. However, you can pick them up on Amazon, unnamed ones, which will just be as good for around about the £10, probably $10, $12 mark as well. So that's what I use and works really well. Right, let's move on to a really important piece of kit for the dark winter months, and that's a head torch. So I'm currently using this, which is the Petzl Swift RL. Now, this is not a cheap head torch. It comes in UK around about the £100 mark, US dollars around 120 odd. So it's not a cheap option. However, it is well built. And I am going to do a review on this head torch in the next week or two. I'm going to put it up against some of the competition that's much cheaper, and so give you a really good idea whether this is value for money or you're better off spending less on something that's a bit cheaper, but it'll still give you the same range of options. But without doubt for me, the head torch is a key piece of kit for running in the UK in the winter nights. It's really dark, and probably half of my run is in dimly lit or unlit areas. So having a bright head torch so you can see your way, make sure you don't fall over and other people can see you, is really, really important. Right, next up, and arguably one of the most important bits of kit for a runner in the winter is, no surprises, jacket. So I'm going to get up, get mobile, and show you the jacket that I use. So my jacket, it's by a company called Proviz, and this retails for about £70. I think there's a discount on it at the minute in the UK, and I think it's about 113 US dollars. So, you know, not overly expensive for something like this, but certainly not the cheapest jacket you can buy. However, if we just have a look at it, and I'll show you some of the features before I sit back down and take you through some of the technology on it. So we start off on the front. We have a zipper pocket for your keys, etc. It's got these adjustable straps to pull in around the neck, tape zippers all the way through, and down here we have ventilation, breathable ventilation holes. And then if we look to the cuffs, we've got thumb holes there for your running out when you're running. If we turn it over onto the back side of it, you can see this is a hooded jacket, and again has adjustment on the hood here, so you can pull that in nice and tight around your head, and the visor on it is really useful as well, especially when it's raining heavy. It does keep some of the rain off your face. High visibility pattern on it, so this shows up really well to other traffic. And then as we move towards the bottom of it, you can see we have another zipped compartment here. So that's really useful. When I talked about where I keep a hat, gloves and things, they can go in there. You don't feel that you've got them. And the actual adjustment for pulling in around the waist is at the bottom as well. So they're the features of it. Now let's talk about the, after I've dropped everything on the floor, let's talk about the waterproofness of it and the breathability. So the ProViz Lumina jacket is fully waterproof and breathable as well. In terms of how they measure that, it's measured by putting the fabric over a tube of water and measuring in millimeters how much water it takes to go through the actual material. I'll pop a little diagram up here or here just to show you what that means. And very similar in terms of the breathability. They use a similar thing to measure how much water vapor comes through the material in a 24-hour period. Now, the ProViz Lumina jacket scores very well with 15,000 on breathability and 15,000 on waterproofness as well, which is probably up towards the higher end. I think you can get up to 20,000 waterproofness, but that's going to be on a really expensive jacket. This at about $120 odd, £70 to get those sort of figures is really good value. And I've used this for the whole of last year, and I've got to say, it never let in any water at all, and I'm out in all weathers. And in terms of breathability, it was pretty good. I get quite hot when I'm running anyway, but when I'd get back, I would have some sweat on my top, but I wasn't absolutely dripping as if I'd been out with a jacket that wasn't waterproof. So in terms of a reasonable price jacket as an investment, I don't think you can go far wrong with that. And that's from proviz.com. Go and check out some of the stuff. They're really good. Right, we're on to the last couple of items now. And next on the list is gloves. So I've got 3 different pairs of gloves that I tend to wear when I'm running, depending on what type of running I'm doing. I have a very cheap pair of sort of woolen gloves, just very much for if I'm going out for a quick run. They're not particularly good at keeping out the cold, but they do offer a little bit of protection. One thing to mention is they don't have any capacitive touch fingers on them, so can't use my watch with them particularly well if I have to use the touch screen on it. So they're not very good for that. Next ones I have, these are probably for more if it is bitterly cold. I will go in these gloves. These are named, these are RAB gloves, and they do have capacitive touch on the fingers, but they provide a lot of warmth. In fact, when I go out of these, even if it is really cold, by the time I get back, I've probably taken them off for at least for a while anyway, because the hands get really hot in them. Probably my go-to pair, and these are made by Ron Hill, the same as my beanie hat, same material, very thin, but when you get out there, I think, you know, you start off, you don't think they offer that much protection, but after you've run half a mile, your hands do start to warm up in these, but then they stay generally nice and comfortable temperature all the way around. So these are generally my go-to gloves. It's only if it's bitterly cold will I go for the RAB ones. Now these sort of gloves, again, you can pick these up relatively cheap, you know, probably talking 15 to 20 pounds or 15 to 20 dollars ish, around that mark. So not particularly expensive. Again, if you go for a name brand, you're going to pay that a little bit more. But having gloves in the winter is an absolute must for me, because your hands do get freezing cold and it becomes not very comfortable. And finally, we come on to leggings, or running tights, whatever you want to call them. These, I couldn't do without these in the winter. A lot of people will run and continue to run in shorts during the winter. I find that extremely uncomfortable and cold. I do like to wear a pair of running tights. These are Asics ones. They are about 8 or 9 years old. They're pretty knackered, they're pretty thin in places, but they do offer me the protection just from the cold in the winter and keep it nice and comfortable. They're nice and thin as well, which is really good. They have zip legs down the bottom, which are broken, but do work a little bit. That's how old they are. And they do have a zip pocket on the back as well. So nothing much to them, lightweight, and I've got a thicker pair, but I find them just a bit uncomfortable to wear. These are really comfortable, hence why I've still got them after all that time. But I think for most people, having a pair of running tights is a bit of an essential in the winter, especially when it's freezing, below freezing. They just keep your legs that little bit warmer, stop your muscles getting cold when you first go out, and therefore probably helping prevent some injury as well. So that's it in terms of the kit that I use. I'd be really pleased if you just let me know what sort of kit you use in the winter. Do you use the same sort of stuff? Do you use anything different? Have you got any recommendations that you'd give to me about the kit that I use? And if you've enjoyed this video, want to see more of the same, want to see my review of the Swift RL head torch, then please subscribe using the button below, hit the bell icon, and then you'll get notified every time I upload a video. Also, I'd be really pleased if you would hit the like button, but please do leave some comments. I'll see you next time. Thanks very much.